Hello and welcome to this week's episode of the Vegan Business Tribe podcast with myself, David Pennell, founder of Vegan Business Tribe. And I'm broadcasting to you around the world on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you get your pods, but also now in glorious video on YouTube too. And if you have a vegan business or you've just got an idea for starting one, then Vegan Business Tribe is here to support you and to inspire you, not just to build a vegan business, but to build a successful vegan business. And today, I'm actually picking up on a question that one of our Vegan Business Tribe members brought to one of our business clinics. So every couple of weeks, we invite some of our Vegan Business Tribe members onto a small group call where everybody gets 15 minutes to ask a question or bring up a problem that they've got in their business, or just sometimes to float a new idea to get feedback. And then, as a group, we spend 15 minutes giving our collective advice and feedback on how they might be able to solve that problem. And usually, just between you and me, quite often we do solve that problem, and often we have a lot of fun at the same time. And the reason that I love running these business clinics is because the questions that our members bring, they're usually relevant to everybody else in the room too. So you don't just get your own question answered. You pick up advice by listening to the answers for other people's problems as well. And one of our members in this week's business clinic was Callum Weir from Yumfu. And Callum, he's been a Vegan Business Tribe member pretty much from since we launched our paid tier. He's been with us right since the start, and he's become a really good friend over that time too. And Callum, he's a vegan nutritionist, but also a little bit of a digital nomad as well. So since I've known Callum, he's worked his way down the west coast of North and then Central America, traveling and snowboarding down volcanoes as he goes. And he's got pictures of that too to prove it. And then he hopped over the Pacific and he's currently working his way around Australia. And whilst doing this, he makes his living coaching clients online. He holds regular coaching calls. He creates meal plans and supplies recipes for weight loss or muscle gain, or just helps people transition over to a plant-based diet. And he is exceptionally good at what he does. He is a fully certified plant-based nutritionist. So it was great to have Callum join us on a business clinic last week, but I was surprised by his question because it was this: why has getting new customers become harder? Now, in Callum's business, nothing has changed. His main source of new clients, it's always been through Instagram. And he's putting out the same great content, he's gaining the same amount of new followers, and he's delivering the same high quality service, and so getting the same amazing testimonials at the same time. So why is he having to work so much harder to get new customers when even just 12 months ago, inquiries, they were just dropping into his message box? So we had a really interesting group conversation about this, and we found out that other people in the room, they had the same issue. They haven't changed how they're promoting themselves, but customers are getting harder to get for them too. So what's going on? Well, that's what we're going to be talking about in today's episode. But before we get into that, a couple of things I just want to bring you up to date on first. And first of all, we are getting ever closer to Vegan Business Tribe Live at the London Olympia as part of VegFest UK. And if you missed Vegan Business Tribe Live last year, then Tribe Live, it's 2 days of speakers and panelists and workshops to help you grow a successful vegan business. And we have got the most amazing lineup this year, from founders of successful vegan businesses right through to angel investors. So we've got Karen Ridgers, who is an ex-journalist and vegan PR specialist, and she's going to be doing a workshop on how to get your vegan business in the news and on TV. We're hosting a panel of vegan influencers to give their tips for growing your audience on YouTube and social media. We've got Indy Cower from Plant Futures, and she was the former head of plant-based strategy at Tesco supermarkets, and she's going to be telling us all about what's going to be the next big thing in the vegan sector. And we're just really fortunate to have the founders of some of the UK's biggest vegan food brands, including Andy Shovel, who is the superstar vegan co-founder of This, who alternative meat products such as This Is Not Bacon and This Is Not Chicken, that's stocked in all the major retailers here in the UK. So we've got them all, and they're going to be giving their tips on how to scale up a vegan business. And I'm even going to be running a couple of sessions myself on how to start a vegan business and how to get more customers too. So if you can get to London on the 18th and 19th of November 2023, then I really want to see you there, and you get access to the full event as part of your VegFest UK ticket. So to find out more, just head to our website at veganbusinesstribe.com and click on the Tribe Live 2023 tab to see the full schedule of talks and the link to book your VegFest ticket, because I genuinely want to see you camped out at our stage for the entire 2 days. And before we get back into today's topic, I also want to mention our amazing sponsors of this podcast. And I know. When you're listening to a podcast and someone starts to talk about the sponsors, it can be so tempting to just skip forwards. But this is different. We could not make this podcast without our sponsors, especially since we jumped to video too. But also, our sponsors, they are all vegan businesses just like you. They are owned and run by vegans, and they're all working towards bringing about a vegan world just like you are. So when you get to the ad slot, don't just tune out or skip forwards. I know that people do that, because if you've got a vegan business, then you should genuinely know about these companies and maybe consider getting in touch with them too. And just to remind you who our lovely, amazing sponsors are, we've got Mindful Wealth, headed up by our UK-based vegan financial advisor, Jay Street. We've got Mad or Make a Difference Promotions, whose founder, Karen Ridgers, will help get you and your vegan business in the news. We've got the vegan publisher Mitali Depakesta, who will help you become a published business author and thought leader. And then finally, Keith Lesser and his team at Vegan Accountants here in the UK. Because if you've got a vegan business with a growth mindset, then you should really have an accountant that shares your ethics and mission to help you get there. I just wanted to break off for a second to ask, are you just following this podcast without being a member of Vegan Business Tribe? Because if you are, then let me tell you, you are missing out on about 80% of everything that goes on at Vegan Business Tribe, including incredible resources and a vibrant community of like-minded vegan business owners from around the world. Because as a member of Vegan Business Tribe, you'll gain access to hundreds of hours of online courses and guides and masterclasses in our Vegan Business Academy to help you grow your vegan business. You'll also get to attend our regular online networking meetups where you can promote your business and just forge those connections with fellow vegan business owners just like you. Plus, if you need more direct advice and assistance, you can join us on a live business clinic, or you can post a question in our community hub where all our other members, plus our vegan business experts, are waiting to help you out. And the best part, it's just £18.99 a month. And at the same time, you'll also be supporting the work that we do to champion the vegan business scene around the world. And just to add that we've now also recently introduced one-to-one business coaching and mentoring with myself or one of our vegan business experts. And that's available to a select number of our members. So if you're really looking to take your vegan business to the next level, then we've got you. Don't just lurk on the sidelines. There is a whole community of vegan businesses who want to get to know you and support you. Just head to veganbusinesstribe.com, click on that big join button on the homepage, and I cannot wait to connect with you and discuss your vegan business or your next big idea. Okay, so let's get into today's topic, which, as I said, this is something that was brought up at one of our business clinics this week by our member Callum Weir from Yumfu. So, Callum, he is doing nothing different. He's delivering the same amazing service and he's getting the same results for his clients and putting out the same great content too on his social media. But whereas a year ago, inquiries were just dropping into his inbox, now he's having to do a lot more work to get them. So what's going on? Well, let me tell you that this is not unique to Callum. So if you follow the news, then it would be easy to think that at the moment the economy is completely falling apart and many regions have seen an economic slowdown. In the UK, this has even been given its own brand as the cost of living crisis, or the cosy lives, as I've heard some people shorten it down to. You know, I'd go out this weekend, but I've got a bad case of the cosy lives. And this is because energy bills and mortgages, they've all risen and food prices have gone up, but wages, they haven't kept up to match. And we've had national strikes and everyone seems to know somebody whose mortgage repayments have doubled overnight. And people have just become really conscious of how much they are spending right now. And this has been caused by a number of things. So the war in Ukraine, that made oil prices rocket. We're all still on rebound from the COVID lockdowns. And here in the UK, well, we kind of imposed trade sanctions on ourselves through Brexit at the worst possible time economically. We've also had some very poor governments in numerous different countries. In fact, when I'm on a call with one of our members and I mention the turmoil that the UK government has been going through, I mean, we've had 4 prime ministers in as many years, then whoever I'm talking to, they say, that's nothing. Let me tell you about the government in my country. And all this political turmoil, it means that many leaders and political parties, they haven't been focused on improving people's lives. They've been focused on trying to ensure their own survival, sometimes at whatever cost to the population. I mean, when you've got this situation where energy costs soar and people can't afford to heat their homes, but at the same time, those energy suppliers, they're making record profits and have got more money than they know what to do with. That is just a failure in governance. That's why we're supposed to have governments, to stop things like that happening. And this is the background to our lives at the moment. If you turn on the news, you'll hear another report about how hard up everybody is or how food prices keep going up and there's no money to invest in public services, so you're going to have to pay for private ones instead. And the thing is, regardless of your own personal financial situation, all that news, it has an effect on you. You will think twice about what you are spending your money on because you know that things are tight at the moment. You become a lot more careful with your money. You don't make the same impulse buys and you spend a lot longer looking at what you're going to spend your money on. And we're seeing the result of that shift across all sectors right now. People are going through their bank statements and they're cancelling their streaming services and gym memberships. People are holding back on buying products or signing up to services, not necessarily because they can't afford them, but because they're being extremely cautious and they're concerned they might need that money for something else unexpected just around the corner. But the reality is, no matter how bad the economy seems, you will still see plenty of people making money. In fact, some of the most successful businesses like Airbnb, they launched in an economic downturn. And then on the flip side of that, no matter how well the economy is doing, many businesses lose money and go out of business. So, just because the news is all doom and gloom and the price of chickpeas has doubled, which actually has, don't use that as an excuse to simply accept fewer customers for your business. People still need your services. People still need to buy your product and have that money in their banks. They just don't feel like they do right now. So, it's going to take a lot more work to give them confidence and to convince them to spend that money with you. In many ways, though, if you can master getting customers in a time of low economic confidence, then that means that your business, it can be even more successful in more confident times. The systems and the techniques that you have to develop now to get customers, because they're so skittish, they're going to be doubly effective when the economy and the confidence bounces back. And it will. I mean, the current downturn, it isn't even that bad when you compare it to previous ones. I mean, I ran a business through the 2008 banking crisis when it felt the entire economic system was about to collapse, and every day another huge business collapsed around us. If you are looking to get your business in the news or on the radio or interviewed on TV, then no one's going to get your company noticed like Karen Ridgers and her team at Mad Promotions. And Karen, she's been at the forefront of the vegan media scene for the last 20 years. And Mad Promotions, they're also our media partners at Vegan Business Tribe. So if you've read about us in plant-based news or in Vegconomist, then that's probably because Karen got that story there. So if you are an ethical company or entrepreneur that wants more media coverage, and if you're a company that is looking to make a difference, then that's literally what Mad Promotions stands for. Karen, she's worked with Veganuary, VegFest, and all the other big names. So go find out more at mad-promotions.com. Did you know that in the UK alone there is currently around £3 trillion invested in pensions? And much of that money, it's helping to fund harmful industries like tobacco, fossil fuels, gambling and animal agriculture. So if instead you want to put your money where your heart is, then Jay Street is the founder of Mindful Wealth, our UK-based independent and vegan financial advisor here at Vegan Business Tribe. And because they are truly independent, they're not restricted to any specific investment range, so they can find the best option that works for you both financially and ethically. Although do note that the value of your investments, it can go down as well as up. But you don't need to have a lot of money invested to make a difference. If you want to talk about your financial planning, whether you're just starting your journey or you need a little guidance on how to create and maintain good habits, then book a free discovery call with Jay by heading to mindfulwealth.uk. So, as a business owner, what does this change in consumer buying behaviour mean to you? Well, it means that those inquiries that just dropped into your inbox a year ago, they're not going to drop in on their own anymore. Customers, they stop reaching out to you. Or those products that just flew off the shelves on their own. They don't just fall into people's baskets like they did. And they need a helping hand. So, for instance, let's imagine that you offer a service. So maybe you are a nutritionist like Callum from Yumfu. When people feel like they have spare cash to spend, they might have just signed up for one of your packages with only a minimal amount of evaluation before doing so. They might have even made an inquiry after just seeing a few of your posts online. But now, that same person, they still want that service. They still have the same problem in their lives that needs solving. But now, they're weighing up how much your service or products costs with their other eye on the rising food prices in the supermarket. And that indecision, it might mean that they put your product back on the shelf instead of into their basket. Or they might not send you that email asking you about your services. And this means that in order to get that customer, your sales process, it has to change. They've become skittish. So you have to better understand what objections are going through their mind and make sure that what you are saying in your marketing answers those questions. If they are scared of spending, then you're going to have to hold their hand. You are going to have to build a relationship with them that goes beyond them just seeing your social media on a regular basis. And this is something that we've always done at Vegan Business Tribe. We try as much as we can to get someone who's showing an interest in being part of our amazing vegan business community, of getting that person into a conversation with us. So, for instance, you might be somebody who listens to this podcast but hasn't signed up with us over on the website yet. But you would love to meet other vegan professionals and business owners. You would love to join your tribe so that you can take part in the business clinics and get that one-to-one advice on your business. But you just haven't done it yet. And maybe that's because you're not sure on the cost, or maybe you're teetering on the edge of signing up, but there's some question or concern that you've got. Or maybe you're just not sure if it's going to work for your kind of business or the point that you're at in your business journey right now. Well, what if you were to have a 10-minute conversation with me about signing up? What if you and I were to have an email exchange where you put all those questions to me so that I can answer them? Well, you can. You can just email me on hello@veganbusinesstribe.com. So would that be the extra step that you would need to sign up? Or is it the case that just no one's prompted you to take that step yet? And you'll find that you might have a similar situation with your potential customers. Your audience, they're still watching you and considering buying your product for the first time, or maybe signing up with you. But any niggling questions that they have, they are amplified because they're being far more cautious with their money. They're going to buy the product that they've had before and know they like, rather than risking wasting their money on something new and untried that they might not. And that person might now need a way to try that product to make sure they like it before they'll become a customer. Whereas a year or so ago, they might have been willing to just buy it and see. Or the price of a product, it's going to carry far more weight in the minds of the customer than the perceived quality right now. So if they can find something that isn't quite as good, but solves their problem at a lower price, then they're going to really consider that a lot more seriously than they might have done a year ago. That's why supermarket-owned brands are seeing a huge increase in volume sales at the moment, whilst branded products, they're struggling. So now that you know all this, you can do something about it. You can no longer just put out your marketing and expect somebody to buy or make an inquiry like they did before. You are going to have to make that first move yourself. So what does that actually mean? Well, if you go back to episode 102 of this podcast, I spoke about how to go from social to sales, or how to get the people who are at the moment just following you on social media and move them over to a different communication channel, a communication channel where you can have direct contact with them. And usually that means getting them onto your email list. So if you're not doing all that at the moment, then go and listen to episode 102 and get that process in place. Next, you need a way to understand what's stopping people buying. And the only way that you are going to find that out is by talking to them. And I'm sorry, I know everybody hates this part, but you cannot build a successful business if you do not understand how and why people buy. And just as importantly, why they don't. You need to get people onto a call to find out what questions they've got about what you sell. You need to meet them face to face at events so they can tell you all those lovely objections. And this is why retail products and retailers, they're constantly running focus groups to find out what's going on in someone's minds when they're evaluating your product. Because when you make customers your best friends, they will tell you everything that you need to know about how to sell to them. What will it take to get somebody to try your product for the first time? What questions did they have? And what's stepping them moving forwards? Is it cost? Because if so, it's then your job to show your customers that the value of the outcome outweighs the price of a product, making the price they pay actually secondary. Is it that they just don't know you well enough yet? In which case, a free 20-minute call, that might make that final personal connection that they feel they need to sign up to your service. And you need to add that as an important gateway to lead people through on your customer journey map. Is it just a lack of confidence in what you sell? In which case, would a money-back guarantee help? Would you be more likely to sign up with a weight loss coach who said that if you haven't lost weight in that first month, then they're going to give you your money back? You need to know what's stopping people buying your product or service so that you can lead people past that objection. And again, we've got a whole course on this, which is available to our members in the Vegan Business Academy on our website. It's called How to Get Customers. Because when you actually boil it down, there are only 5 objections that every potential customer has. And that is no need, no money, no hurry, no desire, and no trust. And if you can get potential customers into a conversation with you, then each one of those objections, they can be worked around. Yes, even people telling you that they can't afford what you sell. Trust me, they are lying to you. What they're actually saying is that you just haven't framed the value of what you sell to them well enough. So, if you were getting plenty of inquiries maybe 12 months ago and now they've dried up but you've not changed anything, then no, those customers, they're still there. It's just the tide has gone out. So they're hiding under the rocks and it's up to you to go and needle them out. Have a process that you can use to get them into a conversation instead of waiting for them to come and talk to you. Have a tool that you can pull out to give them more confidence in buying from you, like a free trial or an amazing deal or that money back guarantee. and focus a lot more on what we call the bottom of your funnel rather than the top. Focus on those people who seem like they're ready to buy or have already made an inquiry, but they've not gone ahead yet. And just to finish this session off, there are also lots of what I call sneaky ways to identify the people who are at the bottom of the funnel, those people who are the closest to becoming customers. For instance, if you use a platform like MailChimp or ActiveCampaign to send out your email marketing, then you can use their reporting to see who's clicking on what links in your emails. So if you send out an email talking about your latest service and somebody clicks on the link in that email to read more, then that's when you want to be asking if that person wants to dance. Now, I don't mean just pick up the phone and call them, although, you might want to do that in some businesses. But you can use email automation to send that person a very specific follow-on related to the link that they clicked on. Or you can send them a personal email manually, asking if they wanted to chat or if they've got any questions. And that's something, again, that we do a lot at Vegan Business Tribe. If I send out a special offer, such as a 3-month trial, I can see who's clicked on that link. And if I can see that someone's clicked on it, but they've not taken the offer, then I really want to have an exchange with that person because obviously they're interested, but there's something holding them back. And I actually get a really good response rate when I do these kind of personal reach outs. And most of the time, the person has a reason for not signing up that I can easily answer. And it often results in them then taking up the offer. They just needed that little bit of extra reassurance that a personal exchange gives them. So you can use these kind of technologies and other ones too to help follow up people who took an interest but didn't become a customer. And you will be familiar with remarketing. And that's where maybe you've looked at a company's website or a product, and then adverts for that company, they follow you around the internet. And these sort of things, they are far easier to set up than you think. They only need a drop of technical know-how. And this way, you're only paying to show adverts to people who you know already have an interest. So, has it got harder to find customers in the last year? Yes, it has. Does that mean that you have to accept fewer customers? No, not at all. It just means you need to take your customer game to the next level. Before, you might have been able to just sit back and enjoy sales and inquiries rolling in, but now you have to make the first move. And that means understanding how and why people buy a whole lot better than you do now. Because the thing is, all this new learning, it will have a huge positive impact on your business. Because when customer confidence returns, and it will, you will already have the strategy in place to generate far more inquiries than you were getting before. You will understand your customers better, and you might have even changed your product or service offering to match them. You might have even looked at different ways for people to buy your product based on what you've learned, like subscriptions or payment terms to make them seem more affordable. It will also take you to the next level too, in terms of being a business owner. You will no longer be wrestling with a process that you don't fully understand and might have been just leaving to luck. If you are a UK vegan business, wouldn't it be better to have an accountant that shares your ethics? Well, Vegan accountants have got over 30 years of experience and they're a vegan founded company. And just to add, they're also our accountants at Vegan Business Tribe because they just get us. They understand why we do what we do and they make sure that we're doing it in the most tax efficient way possible. Keith and his team, they've been massive supporters of our mission at Vegan Business Tribe. So if you are an established UK business with a growth mindset and you want an accountant that is going to help you grow and shares your mission as well as saves you tax, then just go to veganaccountants.co.uk to find out more. Do you want to speak at more events? Do you want to get invited onto podcasts like this one? Well, it's far easier to do that if you can say that you have written a book. So let me tell you about the Vegan Publisher. Their founder, Mitali, she is a best-selling business author herself. And Mitali and her team, they will lead you through that entire process of becoming a published author, transforming you into the thought leader of your industry. And writing a book, it isn't just a great marketing activity to get you more clients. Trust me, being a published author, it will open up doors to opportunities that you never even knew existed. So even if you think you don't have the time to write a book, or even if you don't know what you might write a book about, go take a look at theveganpublisher.com to find out more. Okay, so we've covered quite a bit in this session, so let's end with a bullet point roundup of what we've learned by asking Callum's question of why is it getting harder to get customers? 1. We have genuinely seen an economic slowdown, and this has put pressure on a lot of people. But the news, it's amplifying this. Even people who are doing fine financially, they're feeling the psychological money pressures from being constantly being told that times are hard. And this means that everyone is being careful with their money, regardless of their own financial situation right now. People are stripping back for non-essentials, but they're also spending longer evaluating where all their money goes. 2. However, people still need what you sell, and many still have the money to buy it. Plenty of successful companies actually launched and thrived in tough economic times. It's just that people need a lot more confidence in your product or service before they buy. So, if your customers are scared of spending, then it's now down to you to reach out and take their hand instead of waiting for them to make the first move. 3. To be able to do that, you need to get people off social and onto your mailing list or onto a communication channel that you control. You need people to not just be a passive audience. And to find out how to do that, go listen to episode 102 of this podcast if you haven't listened to it already. 4. You need to talk with your potential customers and the people in your audience so that you can find out what objections are stopping them from taking that first step. And this might be at events or trade shows. It might be that you can get them onto a Zoom call or even just start an email exchange with them. 5. Every objection has a route around it. Even if somebody tells you they can't afford what you sell, they're probably lying to you. You just haven't correctly framed the value of what they're getting yet. 6. You can develop tools, and we actually call these conversion tools, to help lead people over the line. What's going to give your potential customers that last inch of confidence? Is it going to be a free trial or a money-back guarantee or even giving them the opportunity to talk to your other customers? 7. There are also a number of sneaky ways that you can use technology to help you to identify people who might be thinking about becoming a customer so that you can engage with them directly. For example, monitoring who clicks on the links in your emails and then having either automated or manual follow-ups to try and get that person into a direct exchange or conversation. And 8, it's important that you embrace this process. It's not just part of you learning how to get customers. It's part of you becoming a better business owner or professional and building a more robust and successful business. When customer confidence returns, which it absolutely always does, you will then be generating twice as many customer inquiries than you were before. And that is it. Okay, so one final point that I want to make is that you don't have to do all this on your own. Now, I mentioned one of the courses that we've got in the Vegan Business Academy called How to Get Customers. Well, it teaches you about all that customer journey and everything that we've talked about today, including how to set up a funnel with lots of practical examples and help. And the course, it's about in total 4 hours long and it's video, but it's broken down into bite-sized chunks between 3 to 10 minutes per video. So it's really easy to work through, but it will completely change your understanding of how to get a complete stranger to give you their money in a legal and ethical way. And of course, that's only a small part of all the content that we've got in the Vegan Business Academy. We've got hundreds of hours of masterclasses and interviews that we've built up over the last 3.5 years or so. So do go check it out because all that is included in your Vegan Business Tribe membership and everything is produced uniquely for vegan businesses. We're not just talking about creating successful businesses to make money. We're talking about creating successful businesses to help create a vegan world. Right, so please do go check out the Academy. Also, please do go check out Vegan Business Tribe live at the London Olympia on the 18th and 19th of November 2023. And if you can get to London on those dates, I really want to see you there for full 2 days of amazing speakers and panelists. And also, just to wrap us up, if you can leave a review for this podcast, or even just post a comment or a like, or subscribe to our channel, or give us a thumbs up, all that stuff, it only takes you a second, but it really helps us absolutely just massively to get this information into the ears of more vegan business owners. So that is it. Thank you so much for giving up your time to be with us here today. I always really appreciate you giving up your time to invest in you and your vegan business. And I will see you on the next one.